Hello, hello! I'm here with the Real Stuff Show. So I'm Augusto Laja. I'm the host with Jay Granieri, my buddy here.
What's up?
So we're hosting here the Real Stuff Show with Rock the Market conference for the guys. And we have Alfredo here. Alfredo, tell us a little bit more about the conference, please.
It's Rock at the Market. No, so the conference is our Miami Association puts this together. We're at the Hard Rock, and it's just realtors, business individuals here listening from some of the top individuals in the country. So if you're not here, you got to get here.
I mean, this is like the conference, like the mega conference.
Yes, every year it gets sold out. Everybody wants a ticket. So next year, buy ahead.
Man,
that's great, and we're gonna have a lot of different guys here as guests to be interviewed. And the first one, please, Jay, introduce him.
I mean, we have like the heavy hitters of heavy hitters right here with us right now. I mean, this is the man, the OG of real estate, Fernando. Now, see, that's funny because we have talked about pronouncing names correctly because I didn't take phonics, but I'm going to say it correctly right now. Arencibia.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
Now, Fernando is the 2022 chairman of the board. Now, you don't get a name like chairman without doing some things legit around here, okay? Tell us a little bit about that and how and really the steps that it took to kind of rise to stardom, because you've got some titles of titles.
Yeah. No, thank you, Jay. Thank you, Augusto, and here with my buddy Alfredo. It's so wonderful to be here at Rock the Market. This is an amazing event. We got over 2,000 people here. I mean, we're about to start packing arenas. That's going to be the next step here. This is an event that keeps growing and growing, and it's put together by the Miami Association of Realtors. I'm, was honored to be the chairman of the board for 2022. And to have been involved with the board and with the association for, the better part of the last decade. I think this all starts with having a servant's heart and wanting to give back to the industry. And I think that's the beginning of it all. And then having people that, kind of pull you up to leadership, that tap you on the shoulders and says, I think you have something to contribute, something that you can really, make changes and improvements to the industry. And there's a voice that we would like to have in the boardroom. And then that's kind of how it starts. And then it's years of being involved at the local, state, and national level that gets you to a place where people feel that we want you to be the leader of a board that takes care of over 60,000 members. Amazing. The largest local board in the country. And something special about being a Miami Realtor, which is that only a Miami Realtor can say that they are part of the largest local association in the country. They're also part of the largest state association in the country at Florida Realtors. And they're part of the largest trade association in the country, which is the National Association of Realtors. And that gives all of us a great voice and gives us the opportunity to really make a positive impact in our communities beyond the economic contributions that we make to our society as a whole.
Would you say like the ripple effect kind of begins in South Florida for all things real estate?
Well, listen. I'm definitely biased, so the answer would be yes.
Yes,
I think it definitely does. So many things happen here that you see throughout the country, and I think part of it is because we have a very multicultural society. We have such an international city, right? And so if you look throughout the country, 1 out of 4 international sales happen here in South Florida, in the state of Florida. Nobody sells more international real estate as a market than South Florida does. From Palm Beach to Broward to Miami.
Right.
And so, that's an incredible, imagine that influence of so many people that come into this town. We're one of the most multicultural cities in the country. Right. We got people from 100 different countries speaking over 100 different languages in our city. So, I think all of that just adds its own flavor. And so I think that there are a lot of things that happen in the real estate industry and in our market that reverberate around the country.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen, I mean, we've got 2 big heavy hitters here, obviously, both past presidents, current presidents. When you're looking to guide this industry, and the service that you really dedicated yourself to, what's advice that you're giving people when they come up to you? Because you're in my seat one time, and now you've taken on this like, I love that servant attitude, where it's bigger than just selling real estate now.
If I can jump in for a second,
Please.
You learn from the past chair.
Ah.
So one of the things
Steal the secrets.
Steal the secrets. Fernando, I've been now on the board for over 5-6 years, and you learn so much from hearing from individuals like him. I know one of the things that helps advocate a lot is for RPAC, and I'd love for him to share a little bit more on that, because he got me even more into RPAC and how that helps home ownership as a realtor, and that passion. So how do I learn? How do past presidents learn, or current presidents is through the leaders that we have currently.
That's a great lead.
I think he's super humble, but probably one of the greatest leaders. So
RPAC,
the next leader comes out, I'll say the same thing. But
let's hear about it, because RPAC is a big deal, and I think a lot of agents probably feel disassociated from it because they maybe just don't understand really what goes out at a higher level.
Huge. So the first thing, when it comes to guiding the industry and putting like your thumbprint into what is going to happen in the future in our industry, what I would say is that if you are tapped to be a volunteer leader and to be a part of the board, is recognize this: we got over 60,000 members in our association. Every person who is sitting on those boards, which is 110 of us, we represent a portion of those 60,000 members, right? Some of us come from a big firm, some of us from a boutique firm, some of us have always been at multinational brands. We are at different stages of our career. And so what happens is that when you get into that boardroom, it's very important for people to understand that your voice is incredibly important, right? Because you are going to represent a portion of 60,000 members that are going through what you're going through. Right. And so in a lot of ways, it becomes very personal. But by you sharing your personal experiences, what you're struggling with, what you could learn from, where we can guide the industry better, all of that is an incredibly important contribution. Now, RPAC is very important. I think that one of the biggest values that we provide to our industry is our advocacy efforts. Our advocacy efforts are the envy of many. We do more to positively impact the lives of our community and our neighborhoods than any other industry. So think about it like this. We know that we have a very strong economic impact to all communities and societies where we work. But beside that, we support our schools, we support local businesses, we promote home ownership, protect private property rights, we support equal opportunities and fairness for all that while being a strong economic engine of society. What RPAC does is the Realtor Party Action Committee. And what we do is basically we advocate for all the things that are important to not only our industry, but our communities. Think about it like this. We all know the number one word in real estate is location, location, location.
Correct.
Right? So when we advocate for things that are going to improve, whether it is the improvement of water quality, right? When we promote the ability for people to get into homes and to be able to buy their own piece of the American dream, all of that has a positive effect in our society. And part of being a member, and especially those of us that are major investors in RPAC, is that you're investing not only in your industry, but you're investing in your communities by being an investor in RPAC. And there's a legacy there that continues to grow. And all of us can be part of that legacy.
So talk about that, and I think that's a good point. So a major investor, what exactly is that? So somebody understands where they can either entry level in or could become something of that status.
So really, at the end of the day, if you're a realtor in the real estate business, you should be a part of RPAC. But major investor, you start donating at about $1,000. You become a major investor, and you have the opportunity to, like you said, it's not just about the making the investment to RPAC. It's about the investment to your industry. If you're in real estate, why would you not want home ownership for all? Right? That license plate that you see, home ownership for all, that was started because of RPAC and because of those events.
Yeah, awesome.
And the new Live Local and a lot of the bills that have passed that are giving funds for our first responders, that came from those conversations that RPAC has. So any little amount matters. But when we're talking about, the basic that you're giving there for your industry, is definitely something that anybody watching should.
And if I may add there, if you look at it as a concrete example, a couple of years ago, we went through a very traumatic experience worldwide, which was the pandemic. Right. And so we talked about being part of the largest local board, state board, and the largest trade association. How does that voice get activated, right? It gets activated through RPAC and advocacy. So for example, we make sure that all realtors remained essential, right? And they were able to work during the pandemic.
Thank you very much, by the way.
Right. When the condo associations didn't want to allow us to go in and do our job, we make sure to take care of that, right? before the pandemic, we make sure that Florida became a state that allowed for online notaries. We removed the double signature requirements on commercial leases.
Wow.
All of that happened in January, and in February we were shut down. So imagine all of those little things that happened. At the local level, right? When Miami-Dade County was considering reopening and figuring out how we're going to reopen the businesses, we were part of those conversations, right? The mayor reached out to us, and we were part of the conversations of reviewing the guidelines and giving them access, right? And be able to say, hey, we want to tweak this because this is not practical, or this is not the way it is done. At a national level, we make sure that when the EIDL monies were available, or even in the unemployment benefits, that they were also accessible to independent contractors, because we are an industry of independent contractors. So please know that day and night at a local, state, or national level, there's a huge advocacy team at all levels of association that are working hard to make sure that we protect our backside and that we promote the right things, not only for ourselves, but for the people that we serve, for our clients.
Right.
I think just to chime in for a second,
Go ahead.
real quick, is what he's saying is one of the cool parts is that's why he's the chair for HARPAC. And I don't know if we get into fun facts now.
Let's get it. I like that. Throw it out.
I gotta throw this out for
Any fun fact that you put on the table. I like that.
The fun fact is he's a two-time.
Uh-oh.
So he's a two-time first ever award recipient from Florida Realtors. So it was the commercial broker of the year, and then was it
Realtor Advocate?
Realtor Advocate.
Yeah,
of the year.
It's like you
First
and
ever.
Archie Griffin for the Heisman. It's like
First ever, and
crazy.
and don't forget throw that plug in. You got to throw that plug in for the podcast.
Oh, what do we got? What do we got?
Yeah, no, I love what you guys are doing. I mean, this is a lot more professional than what we got going on. But I do have, I'm the broker and co-CEO of Avanti Way Commercial.
Yep.
It's a partnership that was created with Jennifer Woolman and with the founders of Avanti Way Realty. But Jennifer and I are former past chairs of the association, so we created a podcast called Between Two Chairs.
Love it.
And it's all commercial, and it's the subtitle is Demystifying Commercial Real Estate. And we kind of break it down, and so definitely
we should invite you and your co-host on the show.
We got to.
We'd love to kind of have some.
That would be
so
so
people can kind of understand a little bit more about the commercial industry too.
Absolutely.
So before we go to the next guest,
Yes.
I would like to jump into the rock questions. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this show is a little bit about to hack success.
Yeah.
To understand a little bit more about how can we be a successful realtor as well.
Yeah.
And it's a way for you to share. So let me get to some questions. What is your rock star influencer? So who do you look up to?
Who do you go to?
Wow. Are we talking about real musicians, or are we?
No.
Like a rock star in the real estate.
Like the Tony
in the real-
Robbins of real estate
Yes.
that you would like to see.
Someone that influence you or help you to get to the success that you are right now.
So one person that I always give a lot of credit to, and I have so much love for them, is Jose Chepe Serrano, right? And Jose has been in this industry for a long time. He really has
He's got a mentor.
servant's
He's a
heart.
mentor to you.
He's been a mentor to me, and I always love it. He's the person that got me involved in the board, and really has always been so encouraging. And he is the kind of person where he always makes it about everybody else, and so he has always led by example, and that has always been very, very meaningful to me. That relation has always been very meaningful to me. I will also say that we are community oriented, man. Just being around you guys, and I mean, when we come to an event like this and we get to see each other, this is an amazing industry because we compete with each other, not against, but we also collaborate. True. And that is a really interesting dynamic, and only this industry will you find that.
That's awesome.
That's good. And the last question to jump with the next guest is, what is the book that rocked your world?
One book which I shared with the team that I thought was amazing is called The Power of Habit.
Cool.
And it's an incredible. There's a story in it about a guy named Paul O'Neill with Alcoa that really breaks down what is the importance of keystone habits in your life and your career and success. So I have to say I highly recommend that book.
Like that book.
Okay.
Hey.
So that's it.
Fernando, thank you so much,
We
buddy.
have Fernando Arencibia. Thank you, Fernando, very much.
You got it. Absolutely.
It was great.